The news today, before we get to tonight's game and who is playing, who's not playing, and all that good stuff. Dewayne Dedmon, we had reported about a week ago that the Heat had serious interest in him. They were monitoring their situation. Then, just to be fair here, we kind of heard he might take the year off. Apparently, he's either a young child or expecting a child, so he thought maybe he might not play this season. There was a picture that circulated today by our partners over at Heat versus Haters. Circulated a picture of him. It looked like Vinny Aquilino in front of him. It is Vinny, right? Yes, I thought it was. And so Vinny Aquilino, who has a massage therapist and in the training staff, been with the Heat for a very long time. Son is a very talented musician. Vinny was there right in front, and Dewayne was wearing Heat garb. Then right after that, we saw that Shams over at The Athletic reported that that they were gonna be signing him. So it does appear that the Heat have found their big before Thursday. We don't really know what kind of shape he's in. That was the issue. He's had major ankle problems over the course of his career. The one thing about him, though, I know, Brady, you're going to do a story about him for tomorrow. One thing about him was he's always been a plus rebounder, about 12 to 13 rebounds per 36 minutes. He became more of a stretch player over the course of his career, but he shot the three with a little bit more volume the past two seasons, and the percentages went like this. So I don't know necessarily if that's what they're counting on him for. I'll go to both of you guys. I've repeatedly said, and I've talked to people inside the Heat who said they just want somebody in case of emergency. We talked about an Embiid big. That's something Alex has talked about. Brady, what do you think he can provide?
Well, I think when he's fully healthy, the defense is kind of what sticks out, as we talked about yesterday, that the reserves is kind of the issue. If the one thing you can kind of pick out from their defense when you have Goran coming in, Hero coming in, and obviously Belly coming in, so throughout the regular season, I think it could be big for them to kind of throw him in if he's healthy to do that. Obviously, grab some boards. Maybe the fall off with Bam numbers when he exits the floor defensively won't be as bad. And if shots are falling as we've seen in Atlanta, that's obviously a big plus as well. But as it's been mentioned, I don't know if that's going to be the thing that really puts them over the top in the playoffs. I think this is as you mentioned, a type of emergency thing. If anything happens, that they have a capable big. If you're looking back to when they had Chris Silva, the trust level was not there. They were going to Chris Silva over Precious Achiuwa. And I think that was the first sign that basically told you they're going to need to get a big in case of emergency. And now, last game they're playing Bielisa and Bam together, which basically forces Precious to play. So if you would do that even more, you're going to need another big, and that's what I feel like Dedmon can bring.
Yeah, the other thing is he brings another Dewayne to the organization that everybody's going to spell the name incorrectly, which we appreciate Barry giving us credit, but he spelled it incorrectly. He won't be the first or the last on that one. It is not spelled like Dwayne Wade. All of my autocorrect has changed to DWY and E over the years. It took me a little bit. I will say Dwayne's rookie year, I bleeped that up quite a bit. I got it right now. This one is DEWANAYNE. That's what this one is. So it's not spelled conventionally either. One more thing on Greg, and then we'll close the door on Dedmon because he's not playing tonight. A lot of this is just they had to sign somebody by Thursday, right? So, we thought maybe it could be potentially like a G League type talent that they were trying to develop. That still may come down the road. But for right now, this is just, again, a stash to play type player, right? Is that what you would anticipate?
Yeah, I would anticipate it's a situation where that he doesn't get a 10-day contract. I think that they're going to probably sign him for the remainder of the season. And something that I received via text just since we started the show is that he's several days into the health and safety protocols. So that's going to help accelerate getting him into regular basketball activities. So that is, I think, interesting. But I don't think they're going to necessarily rush it. Like you said, it's an insurance policy situation. And he is a player that fits the system. And I feel like he's a guy that Heat fans, like shout out to Nikias, has wanted for many years. Yeah. And now he gets him, so we'll see what Spo does.
I can tell you this. 2013, I was in Orlando at Summer League. Eric Spoelstra doesn't coach the Summer League team. I think Dan Craig was that particular year. So Spo would sometimes sit down with a couple of the reporters that he knows and kind of shoot the bleep with us. And I remember him watching Dedmon with me and saying, that's the guy we might like to keep. That was 8 years ago. They didn't keep him. He's been in like 6 or 7 organizations since. But as we always say, the Heat come back to the same players all the time, right? And they obviously had Dedmon on their radar. They knew they could get him. I'll also say this. If he's several days into the safety protocols, then when we reported this on the 29th, it probably was already percolating at that point. We might have been a day or too late. They might have already been in on it when we said that they had been monitoring his situation. All right, let's get to this. Yes, Baylor versus Gonzaga, rebounding is important. So is shooting. Gonzaga didn't do that very well last night.